When scratching in a club DJ set, it's all about finding that balance, showing technical skill without killing the vibe. I'm DJ Blakey, former DMC champion and club DJ with over 20 years experience. In this video, I'm going to show you 4 scratch combos that I actually use in live DJ sets. Each one strikes that balance between skill and musicality. I will break down each scratch combo as slow as I can so that you can follow along with exactly what I'm doing. Now for combo number 1, I'm going to be scratching with this 2-pack track. And I will be scratching that over this instrumental. So for this combo, we're going to be using the chirp scratch and the transformer scratch. So let me break down what each of those techniques is. So for the chirp scratch, you want to get your jog wheel to the very top of the sound. So here's a breakdown of the chirp scratch. So for the chirp scratch, you start with the fader open right at the top of your sample, and then you push the jog wheel forward, and at the end of the forward motion, you close the fader like this. So you let a little bit of the forward motion of the sound play and you turn the fader off, and then you do the same in reverse. You move the sound back, but before you get to the start of the sound, you turn the fader on so that the end of the backward motion comes through. Now let's repeat this a few times. The chirp scratch, when done right, sounds super tight and clean, which makes it perfect for doing in a club set. It's not too technical and it doesn't sound too overcomplicated. And don't forget, each one of these scratch techniques is broken down step by step in my ultimate scratching course. The link is in the description. We're going to be combining the chirp scratch with the transformer scratch. So let's break down exactly what the transformer scratch is. So again, with the marker pointing at 12 o'clock at the top of the sample, I'm going to let the sample play and I'm going to turn the crossfader on and off repeatedly, creating a transformer effect. So for the transformer scratch, you can see right here, I've got my thumb resting against the crossfader to keep it closed after every time I turn the fader on. And to turn the fader on, I'm using my index finger and my middle finger. And to do this, you rest your thumb against the fader to keep it closed, and you use these 2 fingers to tap the fader on, and as you can see, my thumb is pushing the fader closed again after every tap of the fader. The transformer scratch is perfect for a long piece of vocal like this one here, and if done correctly, it doesn't overpower the music. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow both of these tracks down, and I'm going to perform this combo slowly so that you can get a grasp on what I'm doing before I speed it up and show you it full speed. Now I'll show you what that sounds like at full speed, but I'm also going to introduce the echo effect on the 2-pack acapella. This is a versatile combo that can be done with any track that starts with a piece of vocal like this one here. You can also apply this to a track that starts with a synth line or any other long continuous sound. If this video is helping you out and you'd like to take your learning even further, then my ultimate scratching course breaks down all of these techniques in way more detail. If you'd like to check it out, then just hit the link down in the description. For our next scratch combo, we're going to be using a combination of the baby scratch and the chirp scratch. But because both of these tracks are at 140, we're going to be performing them quite fast. So before I show you it at full speed, again, we're going to slow down both of the decks just to help you get a grasp on what I'm doing before I do it at full speed. So we're going to be scratching this piece of vocal from a central C track.
We could go band for band. We could go band for band.
Now, as you can see, these scratch techniques, the baby scratch and the chirp scratch, they are fairly simple techniques. However, with this combo, they actually need to be performed very precisely for two reasons. Number one, because both of these tracks are running at 140, you will hear in a second that the tempo is quite fast. That means you just have to be more precise with these scratches. And number two, this vocal sample right here, the word we is actually, so you've only got a tiny little piece of vocal to scratch with. However, when you pull this technique off cleanly, it sounds really good, it's not overcomplicated, and it's perfect for a club set. Now let's take a listen to this at full speed.
If it's a Rolls, then it's got to be a Cullinan. G63 if Mercedes Benz. We could go band for band. 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 Fuck that. I'm not in a mood 'cause my flight delayed. So I jumped on a private jet and I'm asking a pilot the ETA.
Now for our next technique, we're going to be using a scratch combo known as the Joe Cooley scratch. And this one is perfect for a club set. I'm going to be scratching this piece of vocal from Jack Harlow, Loving on Me.
I'm vanilla, baby.
And the Joe Cooley scratch is a very specific combination of baby scratches and chirp scratches. So as you can see, it's 3 chirp scratches followed by 2 baby scratches. But the Joe Cooley scratch is performed quite fast. But before I show you it at full speed, I'm going to slow these tracks right down so that you can get a grasp on what it is I'm doing.
I'm vanilla, baby.
Now the Joe Cooley scratch can be performed with many different types of sounds, but I like it best when I'm using a very short piece of vocal like this here.
I'm vanilla, baby.
Now let's take a look at full speed. Now, if you're quite new to scratching, then the Joe Cooley scratch can be quite difficult to perform at that speed. But like any scratch technique, when you're first learning it, the best thing to do is to slow it right down until you can perform it at a slower speed. Then once you feel comfortable doing it at that tempo, just speed it up incrementally until you get to a tempo that you're happy with. This is precisely how I learn all of the most difficult scratch techniques, and it's what I recommend to my students inside my course community. And for our fourth and final scratch technique, we're going to be doing chirp scratches in the triplet timing. This is one of my favorite scratch techniques, and it's one that I recommend all of my students learn as soon as they can, because it opens up a whole new world of scratching possibilities. So I'm going to be scratching with this piece of vocal. And using that piece of vocal, I'm going to do the chirp scratch in triplet timing. And to show you the chirp scratch in triplet timing, I've slowed this instrumental right down to 80 BPM from 107. Now, chirp scratches in normal timing sound like this. They're very quantized and they're very on beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the chirp scratch in normal timing, but in triplet timing, rather than counting every bar in 4 beats like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, you actually count in 3s instead. Let me show you what it sounds like with a chirp scratch in triplet timing, very slow. So rather than counting 1, 2, 3, 4, we count in 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Scratching in this rhythm creates a completely different pattern to normal chirps. Let's take a listen again. Triplet timing chirps are one of the most important scratches to learn on your scratching journey. Inside my Ultimate Scratching course, I have a complete module breaking down triplet timing scratches. Now let's take a listen to this at full speed. So those right there are 4 scratch techniques that I actually use in my club sets. They're not overcomplicated, they sound musical and they sound pro. If you would like to check out 4 more scratch techniques that would be perfect for your club sets, then you should watch this video right here.